My first year in college, I had a public speaking class. I'd read Think and Grow Rich. I'd read The Richest Man in Babylon. I stole their best stories. I learned to use a compound interest calculator. This was way before the internet. And then I proceeded to get the highest grade on a project I've ever gotten in my life. I got A+++. I didn't even know that was a thing. And then over the next 30 years or so, I proceeded to make every financial mistake in the history of Earth.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Today I'm going to share with you how you can avoid those mistakes and get rich. No matter who you are, where you came from, what your upbringing is, what your gender is, race, religion, none of that matters. Anyone can become a millionaire. And I'm not talking about some kind of a get-rich scheme. At the end of this video, I'm going to share with you 3 books that will change your life if you read them and implement them, from which I pulled from for a lot of this content in this video. I'm also going to tell you the one thing that matters most if you really want to get rich. Want to hear something nuts? 40% of Americans can't cut a check for $400. If you can't cut a check for $400, that means you are broke. And even if you can, you need to hear what's in this video because it can help everyone. Here's what got me excited about money and finance. Since the inception of the S&P 500 in 1926, it's averaged a rate of return of 10 to 11%.
But Trevor, that's not realistic, and there weren't 500 stocks then.
Fine. Since 1956, when they did change it to 500 stocks for the full-on S&P 500, it's averaged a rate of return of approximately 8%, which is super great. So let's take that lower number, 8%, and let's say you're 20 years old, like I was when I was going to college back then, and you want to retire when you're 55. So over the course of 35 years, if you invest just $1,000 a month and get the average rate of return that the S&P 500 has gotten since 1956, you will have amassed $2.3 million. $1,000 a month for 35 years at 8% equals $2.3 million. And what's more exciting than that? You'll have put in only $420,000, and the rest was full-on interest, almost $1.9 million in interest, just by being disciplined and dropping $1,000 per month into the S&P 500.
Yeah!
How exciting is that? That means no matter what you do for a living, you can be a millionaire if you start soon enough and you are wise and disciplined with your money. First, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Trevor, you're not supposed to talk about money. It's not polite. Money is evil. Money turns good people into buttheads. You don't want to be one of them. Yeah, a lot of people talk about and think about money like that. That negative self-talk is keeping you broke. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Money is neutral. There are good rich people and there are bad rich people.
There is no nobility in poverty. I've been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every.
There are amazing broke people and terrible broke people. You can disagree with me if you want, but you'd be wrong. It's not a bad thing to aspire to be rich. Cars aren't evil because people die in them every day. Guns aren't evil because terrible atrocities have been committed with them. And that hammer you smashed your finger with, that's not evil either. You're just kind of uncoordinated. Should you try to be rich? Yes, you should. Because if you become rich, you can become the very best version of yourself. You'll be able to experience life to the fullest. You'll be able to see more of the world if that is your desire. You'll be able to spend more time with the people you love. You'll be able to help more people who are in need. You'll be able to have a bigger impact on the world and not just grind away at some 9-to-5 job until you're about ready to die. You'll have financial peace so you won't have to stress about the rent. I mean, tell me this. Are you going to have more of an impact on the world if you are rich or if you're groveling to make that $50 to keep your electricity turned on? Being rich buys time, peace, and freedom. And who doesn't want more of all of those? So the first step to becoming rich is to change your mindset about becoming rich. Think about all of the good that you can and will do once you do have money when you are rich, and you have to believe it. You know, Jim Carrey, he wasn't always a rich and famous actor. In fact, at one point he was so broke that he and his family were living in a van. But he decided to move to Los Angeles and made the specific decision to become a famous actor. He believed it. He visualized it. He actually wrote himself a check for $10 million. In the memo, it said for acting services rendered, and it was dated 3 years in the future. Then he got to work. He worked his butt off, continued visualizing, and got nothing. Months and months went by, years went by, but eventually he landed a role in a movie that you may have heard of called Dumb and Dumber, and he got a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, right before that 3-year date on the check. So yeah, that foo-foo visualization stuff, it works if you do, but you have to believe it. Next, you gotta set a goal. I mean, a very specific goal. And here's where it gets interesting. We are all different. Everyone's idea of being rich is completely varied. Some people want to be a billionaire. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with being a billionaire. I personally don't want to be a billionaire. I don't want that much responsibility. For some people, being rich may mean paying off all debt and paying off the house and generating $3,000 per month without having to work. There is no right or wrong answer. Being rich is 100% what you believe being rich is. What does financial freedom mean to you? You need to get really, really specific. What do you want? How much money do you need to be earning or have invested to feel that freedom and peace? And by what date will you attain that level of income or that level in your investment portfolio? Next, you need to take action. You can't just sit there and visualize and lay in bed and dream. You've got to take massive, massive action. You got to be excited about it. Right now, you're earning exactly what you're worth. Universe knows what you're worth, you're getting paid that. Your boss knows what you're worth, you're getting paid that. Your business knows what you're worth, that's what you're getting paid. If you want to make more money, you've got to give more value to the world. So what are you going to do to improve yourself, to improve your business or your performance at your job so you can make more money? It's easier to get rich if you're making more money. It doesn't even matter what that job is. It is possible to make boatloads of money doing whatever it is that you're passionate about, but that's a whole other topic. I'll mention a book at the end that's gonna kind of help you with that one. Next, and almost everybody gets this wrong, you need to pay yourself first. Most people, they'll go, oh, here's my paycheck, here's the bills, whatever's left, maybe I can invest or go to the movies with. All wrong. Pay yourself first. I don't care if it's just $1 because,
Trevor, I don't have enough money, I can barely pay the bills.
I promise you got $1 or $5 or $10 every paycheck that you can put aside if you just sacrifice some of that garbage that you're buying, that you're wasting money on, that you don't need. Pay yourself first. Start with maybe 1% of your income, and then every month increase it another percent as you get smarter and smarter and more frugal with your money. Pay yourself first. It is game changing. And never ever touch that money. That's the money that is going to work for you so you don't have to work until you're 105 years old. Many, many years ago when I was an editor making 6 figures, I went to lunch at El Pollo Loco and put a burrito on a credit card.
What an idiot.
And I pulled out of that drive-thru thinking, dude, you are doing something wrong. There is for sure a place for credit cards, but you need to avoid consumer debt like the plague. If you have, say, $1,000 come in from maybe some stimulus payment and you think, hey, I'm gonna go invest that right now, but you got $5,000 on a credit card that you're paying 21% interest on, what do you think's the smart thing to do? After you pay your credit cards off, which is what you should start focusing on right now with any of that extra money, the next thing you should do is to start investing that at least 1% of your income every month. Start investing. You might think, I don't know jack about investing. Well, here's a great place to start. There's a company called Webull. You can open a free account right now by clicking on the link in the description there, and they will give you 2 stocks valued up to $1,850 if you deposit $100 in your Webull account.
You never know what you're going to get.
It's a no-brainer. So click that link below so you can start investing right now, assuming you've got your credit cards paid off. So let's say you open that Webull account and you don't know what to invest in. There are a lot of possibilities. Invest in individual stocks or bonds, mutual funds, whatever. My suggestion, I'm not a financial planner, so I'm not giving you financial advice. So there's that disclaimer. But if I was starting out investing, I would invest in either index funds or ETFs that track one of the indexes like the S&P 500. That's a whole separate video, but you want to probably start there. At least that's what I do. The reason you want to invest in an index fund or an ETF that tracks one of the indexes like the S&P 500 is because it's a portfolio of a bunch of stocks. It's a diversified portfolio of a bunch of stocks that are in an index like the S&P 500. So these are big publicly traded companies that are probably relatively stable. When you are investing, there was always risks, so there are never any guarantees, but investing in something like an index fund or an ETF that tracks a fund is going to probably be safer than trying to pick out stocks one by one. If you want to learn more about index funds and ETFs, let me know in the comments below. So it happens that both of my brothers are wealth managers, and they've agreed to appear on this YouTube channel and give you information that you want, and it's going to be stuff that actually works, not the hype stuff. I mean, the hype stuff is fun, but wouldn't you rather just get rich the right way? Next, don't watch the news, man. The world's going nuts right now. The stock market is at all-time highs. Interest rates are at all-time lows. Elon Musk bought $1.5 billion of Bitcoin, so it kind of looks like crypto is going mainstream. Kids, this stuff ain't normal. It's not always going to be this way. If you get some hot tip from watching CNN and you learn about some secret stock and you think, I'm gonna jump in on this because I just saw this on CNN and nobody else knows it. Dude, 20 million people also saw that hot tip and the market has already adjusted for that. So you're not gonna make money on that hot tip. Along the same lines, don't listen to investment gurus to pick that perfect investment or that perfect hot stock. Yeah, you hear about that one time that he was totally right and a bunch of people made a bunch of money on this stock. Well, you don't hear about all the times that they were wrong. I can tell you exactly what every market is going to do over the next 50 years. You ready for this? Every market, whether it's Bitcoin or stocks or bonds, they're all going to fluctuate. They'll go up and they'll go down. Use that as your guide. Next, don't try to time the market. The S&P 500 may have averaged 8% on average for over the last 50 to 70 years, but guess what? The average investor has not. They've made considerably less than the S&P 500 because they try to time the market, beat the market, figure it out, they follow secret tips from gurus, and they almost always lose. Next, don't invest on emotion. I know you think you're above that. You just use logic and reason, but I can guarantee you, almost everyone that tries to figure this stuff out for themselves, they invest on emotion. They hear a hot tip, they hear Tesla's through the roof, like they get massive FOMO, like I'm gonna dump all my money in Tesla before it's too late. So they invest in Tesla at the top of the market. And then Tesla has a bad quarterly report and Tesla starts to go down. Like,
Oh my gosh, I lose all my money.
so right before Tesla hits rock bottom, you pull all of your money out and you just lost a whole bunch of money.
Are you crying? Are you crying? There's no crying.
You think that's not you? I'm telling you, that's almost everybody. Don't invest on emotion. Don't worry about FOMO. Just invest a little bit each month. Next, and this one is huge, maybe among the most important, live below your means, man. You see the guy rolling around with a Rolex and a brand new Beamer every year and eating out at fancy restaurants and picking up the tab for everybody. Guess what? That's probably not the rich guy. That guy's probably in debt up to his eyeballs and stressing about his finances every month. The rich guy is probably the dude that owns the dry cleaning business and that grinds every day and is driving a pickup truck. Rich people are rich because they work very hard and they don't buy stuff they can't afford. It's common sense, but this is a massive problem in this country and around the world. People are trying to keep up with the Joneses. My last name is Jones.
I'm the king of the world.
They're buying things they can't afford consistently every day. They see the latest gadget, they need the new iPhone, the new camera, the new car. That's what is keeping almost the entire country broke. And by afford, I don't mean, hey, I get another 10 grand on my credit card. I can sure get that thing for 18% interest. Dude, if you're buying burritos on 18% interest, you are doing it all wrong and you are not going to get rich anytime soon. Here's something I see a lot as a real estate agent. People tend to buy way more house than they can afford. I mean, the bank says, yeah, you can afford it. You can barely qualify for that payment, but people buy houses at the very edge of their means. It's like, yeah, you can on paper make the payment, but inside you are stressing out about how you can actually buy food. Don't buy more house than you can afford, man. It's not worth it. Financial peace, being able to sleep at night, is worth so much more than having that dream house you've always wanted. Next, there's no such thing as the perfect investment, so stop looking for it. Everybody has different credit card balances, different risk tolerances, and different goals. You've got to find investments that work for you and your goals. When you get a few more bucks invested, you want to make sure you diversify. Saying that you own 20 different stocks is not diversified. Those are all equities, ownership in companies. There are lots of other ways to invest. If you're interested in some of those other things you can invest in, let me know in the comments below. Okay, what's that one thing that separates rich people from broke people? That one thing is habits. Your financial habits will make or break you. And a lot of times people that come from broke families have learned habits that aren't the best and they stay broke, but you do not have to stay broke. You can change your habits and become rich. I promise every single one of you. Those books I told you I'd tell you about, the one book that has probably had the biggest impact on me in the last 5 years that I've read is Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk. There's a link for that below. In that book, he shows you that you can do anything and make a killing, make a living doing anything you're passionate about. The next book is the one I just read. It's called The Behavior Gap right there. It talks about how the market does this, 8%. You do this, much less because of your behavior, and he shows you how to change that behavior. Very good book, you need to read it. The next book I'd recommend that you read right now is You Are a Bad A at Making Money by Jen Sincero. It helps you develop a proper mindset to get excited about making money and why it's a great thing to be rich. If you'd like more videos about finance and investing, let me know in the comments below. I have a ton of knowledge about that myself, and I've got two brothers that are wealth managers that will appear on the show if you want them, so let me know. If you hit that subscribe button right down there right now, the odds of you becoming rich will increase by 742%. It has been proven by science. If you want to see the killing I'm making on YouTube right now, watch that video right there. I cannot wait to see you become filthy rich.